Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the show. Did the U.S. government just dump $6.5 billion worth of Bitcoin? They got the approval to do so, or is it yet to come? Is there more pain on the horizon? We're going to find out that momentarily. We're also going to be chatting about a ton of other stuff. We've got Nico from Simply Bitcoin here to guide us through the news. I am Ben with the BTC Sessions. This is your Simply Session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.
Yo, buddy, how you doing? Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Yo, dude, excited, pumped. So much news as Bitcoin land. The news don't stop, Ben. News don't stop.
There's always so much going on. I mean, we got to talk about. I'm gonna let you lead with what you think is most important to touch on. We'll be getting to the whole DOJ thing momentarily as well. What's top of mind? What's been going on in the space this week?
I mean, dude, like we've been talking about this for a couple weeks now on Simply Sessions, right? This idea that 2021 was a huge letdown. Like we were expecting a bigger and greater bull market, and then it just didn't come to fruition. Now, the theory that I've been making is essentially, I think a lot of us have PTSD from 2020, from 2021, and we have forgotten what a bull market feels like. The last time we've had a true parabolic blow off top was back in 2017. That's 8 years ago. We don't know what that feels like anymore. So the general consensus this cycle is actually different from the general consensus of last cycle. So last cycle, 2021, was we're going to hit 100K guaranteed. That never came to fruition. What I'm seeing this cycle is people are saying 120K Bitcoin, 150K Bitcoin, 200K Bitcoin. And everyone agrees that that is around the price point that Bitcoin's going to hit. However, Ben and I, we both know that Bitcoin does the exact opposite of what everyone else thinks it's going to do. And I truly believe that I think this cycle, because of the regulatory environment, because of the first pro-Bitcoin administration being sworn into office in 11 days, because of the institutional adoption of Bitcoin, because of the nation state FOMO, because of the FOMO on the state level with the strategic Bitcoin reserve legislation, because of the federal government level FOMO with the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Also, Canada, we're going to talk about this later. Canada, Justin Trudeau stepping down. It seems like the Conservatives with Pierre Poilievre looking in the polls as if he's going to win. And we all know how he feels about Bitcoin. 2025 is looking like it's going to be an absolutely massive, explosive year. And I think not that many people are expecting it. So anyways, here is the one and only legendary Matt Odell talking about how this cycle, it might look like 2016, 2017. And we all know Odell is not a price speculation type of individual. So let's check out the clip. It comes from What Bitcoin Did. And of course, shout out to Danny, because I know he took it over. And I know Peter, amazing content creator. I think he renamed his show to the Peter McCormack Show. I think it's going to do absolutely incredible. But anyways, here's a clip from What Bitcoin Did and Matt Odell.
If you're going to say super cycle, right, we have three cycles that we can compare against. Mm-hmm. We have the 2012 cycle, the 2016 cycle, and the 2020 cycle. Now, the 2020 cycle, I think, was artificially suppressed and broken because of FTX, Celsius, Grayscale, Barry Silbert, all the different paper Bitcoin games that were played out and then blew up. So it didn't go as high as it would and went lower than it would have in the bear. So if you go and then you compare it to the 2016 halving cycle, right? And why are there cycles? There are cycles because every 4 years on average, Bitcoin has this pre-planned supply shock, but because people are retarded, it's not priced in. Like at some point, you'd expect all future halvings to be priced in, but we're still far away from that. So if you compare it to the 2016 cycle, if it was exactly the same top and bottom of the 2016 cycle, you're talking roughly 2 million Bitcoin top, 400,000 Bitcoin bottom. Now, I think like some people without thinking about the math would be like, oh my God, that's a super cycle. That's insane. Like, how did we pump that much? No, that's just doing what we did in 2016. Yeah. So I think you'd have to see, for it to be definitionally considered a super cycle, you'd have to see it blow past $2 million. I don't think there's many people that are calling for that right now. I would love to see that. I'd be cool with seeing that. But what I expect here is we'll see a slightly amplified traditional cycle. Because of nation state FOMO, because of ETFs, because of all this new money that has been unlocked, we will see a cycle that probably would have been amplified if you didn't factor in that new demand compared to not factoring that new demand. But I still expect at some point an 80% drawdown where everyone gets wrecked. And when that'll happen, I don't know when that'll happen. It'll happen when we're all incredibly bullish and we think it's not going to happen. And the important contrast, I think, with gold is like gold is, bowling with bumpers. Like there's circuit breakers, like it's a completely controlled market. Like Bitcoin is the closest thing to a free market humanity's ever seen. And humans are inherently volatile and we panic and we do all this crazy shit. We do degenerate shit. All the suits are going to do crazy degenerate stuff that we can't even imagine. Like we're already seeing the early innings of it. Vivek is launching an ETF that buys Bitcoin bonds, the bonds that are then lent to MicroStrategy, so MicroStrategy can buy Bitcoin, while Bitwise is making an ETF that buys the Bitcoin company, buys the companies that buys the Bitcoin, and they're going to do all this different stuff on top of all that stuff and collect fees and everything. So the degeneracy is going to be ridiculous. There's no circuit breakers. People will panic, and we'll probably have another 80% drawdown at some point. And I would say that would also break the definition of supercycle, which is like we wouldn't have like a traditional bear market-ish type of scenario.
By the way, if you know how to read between Matt's lines, that sounded a lot to me like he was calling for a $3 million Bitcoin price.
American HODL with the cherry on top at the end. Ben, what are your thoughts on this, man?
I mean, again, my rational brain is still telling me to fall in line with the diminishing returns thesis, but I'm recognizing like the types of capital that are being attracted to this thing are insane. And so I'm so conflicted because it's almost like it's that catch-22. It's like if I openly admit I think this shit's gonna absolutely rip, it becomes the opposite of a self-fulfilling prophecy where it's like, oh, if I expect it to happen, it's not going to happen. So like I'm stuck in this weird spot where my brain is like, how about you under promise and then Bitcoin over delivers? That's what I'm hoping for. But I don't know, man. I don't like, if anything I've learned over the past number of cycles is that nobody knows shit about shit.
Yeah, no one knows shit about shit. I think that you hit the nail on the head. Expecting everyone gets the price speculation completely wrong. We all are going on hunches, but I think, Ben, we can reach a common truth though, and that common truth is: was 2021 a letdown for you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like everybody was like, oh, 100K is happening. And then far beyond that, like even Odell was like on the show, like calling for 500K, screaming at Bitcoin Tina for being a bear, which did come to fruition in terms of Bitcoin Tina being a bear. But besides the fact, yeah, like I think everybody expected it. Like after the craziness of 2017, it started out the year in 2017, sub 1,000. And then went to 20, like a 20x in a calendar year. It was insane. So like imagine witnessing that in a calendar year again, where, opening the year in and around 100K and then 20xing from there. That's crazy, but it has happened. So
it has happened, dude. It has happened, right? So, and again, Bitcoin does the exact opposite. Ben, we do have a very important question in the chat.
I see it. It's and I'll bring it up. Bugle News would like to know: do I think Lynn Alden is hot? Like, guys, obviously.
Yeah, I was 100. Lynn Alden is super hot. Absolutely, 100%.
Also,
Yeah.
I love Lynn. Lynn is like the best person. She's so super, super kind. I love her and incredibly smart, but also hot AF.
Yeah, super hot, and also she's hilarious too. Like
Yes.
her meme game is on point.
It's
All right.
kiss every time.
Exactly. All right. In other news, you guys know that we'd love to talk about this topic on Simply Sessions, the idea of freedom of speech, the battle for freedom of speech. We make the case that freedom of speech is the front line for the battle for Bitcoin. If you can't speak freely, what makes you think they're going to be able? What makes you think they're going to be okay with you transacting freely? So it's very, very important to cover this. I want to provide a little bit of context because it's not exactly Bitcoin related, but it is Bitcoin related because one of our most powerful weapons to educate the masses and wake the masses up to the scam that is fiat money is speech. So breaking news, Dana White joins the Meta board of directors. Now, the reason this is so significant is Dana has been a very, very vocal proponent of Donald Trump. You definitely can say he's way more on the conservative side of things. So, and of course, Mark Zuckerberg and Meta is known to be a little bit more on the liberal side of things. So the fact that this happened was a huge deal. But I think that the reason that this is happening is because Meta is changing course. And as much as a lot of you guys are like, Nico, I don't even use Facebook anymore. Like, what the F are you talking about? It's still one of the largest social media platforms on the planet. And shortly after it was announced that Dana White, who introduced Donald Trump at the RNC convention after Donald Trump was almost assassinated, that's how close Dana White and Donald Trump are. Mark Zuckerberg actually released a video explaining how Meta is going to be changing their misinformation policies. So it's a bit of a long video. I don't know if we'll have enough time to play the entire thing, but I'm going to play as much as we can. But again, this is a historic moment for free speech because now you have two of the largest platforms, X and Facebook. Hopefully YouTube is coming soon because I grew up on YouTube. I love YouTube. I'm fundamentally a YouTuber. I know Ben is too. Let's check this out.
Hey everyone. I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on Facebook and Instagram. I started building social media to give people a voice. I gave a speech at Georgetown 5 years ago about the importance of protecting free expression, and I still believe this today. But a lot has happened over the last several years. There's been widespread debate about potential harms from online content. Governments and legacy media have pushed to censor more and more. A lot of this is clearly political, but there's also a lot of legitimately bad stuff out there. Drugs, terrorism, child exploitation. These are things that we take very seriously, and I want to make sure that we handle responsibly. So we built a lot of complex systems to moderate content. But the problem with complex systems is they make mistakes. Even if they accidentally censor just 1% of posts, that's millions of people. And we've reached a point where it's just too many mistakes and too much censorship. The recent elections also feel like a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing speech. So we're going to get back to our roots and focus on reducing mistakes, simplifying our policies, and restoring free expression on our platforms. More specifically, here's what we're going to do. First, we're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. So over the next couple of months, we're going to phase in a more comprehensive community notes system. Second, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with mainstream discourse. What started as a movement to be more inclusive has increasingly been used to shut down opinions and shut out people with different ideas, and it's gone too far. So I want to make sure that people can share their beliefs and experiences on our platforms. Third, we're changing how we enforce our policies to reduce the mistakes that account for the vast majority of censorship on our platforms. We used to have filters that scanned for any policy violation. Now we're going to focus those filters on tackling illegal and high severity violations. And for lower severity violations, we're going to rely on someone reporting an issue before we take action. The problem is that the filters make mistakes, and they take down a lot of content that they shouldn't. So by dialing them back, we're going to dramatically reduce the amount of censorship on our platforms. We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content.
All right. Well, it continues, and I'll keep it playing in the background, but that is a covering your ass moment. I don't think this would have happened. I'm going to keep saying this. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks on Simply Sessions. Elections have consequences, right? And, they see Elon and Trump going in there. Facebook's like, you know what? We're going to donate to your inauguration. Dana White, why don't you come on board, man? We're all friends. We've never deplatformed you, Mr. President. What are you talking about? I think I don't blame Zuck. He's a businessman. He's protecting his business. He's walking back. But I will say this, we're just another election away from an administration that is pro censorship. And then what's going to happen? We're going to be right back where we started. And this is why decentralized protocols like Nostr are so important, because there isn't someone like Zuck. There isn't someone like Elon that we have to put so much trust and so much faith and, bluntly, so much power for them to act ethically and morally and not censor people, right? He even said it. I don't know if he purposely meant to say this, but he slipped up and he said, we're going to reduce the amount of censorship on our platform. It's like, dude, what? What are you talking about? So I don't know, Ben, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm super bullish on the fact that there's an ongoing realization that things went way too far, that people and people in charge of platforms are starting to realize that. Now, this is a double-edged sword, of course. Is it great that you're going to have platforms that lots of people are on that are going to open up and allow people to have civil discourse and voice ideas that are not the same as each other, and allow people to say things that are wrong, and rather than fight those with censorship, fight it with better information? That's fantastic. Now, the other part of the double-edged sword, as you said, we're one election away from all of this going right back, whipsawing the other direction. And so the thing that fixes this is censorship resistance, which is basically Nostr. But I think what's unfortunately going to happen, and it's weird to frame it as unfortunately, but when these controlled platforms begin opening up and allowing people to speak freely again, people aren't going to migrate to the censorship resistant protocol, right? And so, like, when somebody's like, well, why am I going to Nostr? When there's an answer to that, because you can't say what you want to say on X or Facebook or whatever, the person will, when they can say what they want, they're going to be like, well, there's no point in me moving over. So it seems almost like it may delay adoption of things like Nostr. So, like, can you see what I mean when I say, like, it's positive, but, like, it's negative in a way? There's, like, this kind of, it's like, in a way, if they were to come out and be like, we're banning Bitcoin, then everybody and we're going to print the shit out of all the money forever, then what's going to happen? Everybody's just not going to obey the law. They're going to use Bitcoin and they're not going to use the dollars anymore. In a way, friendly regulation allows people to be lulled to sleep. And so I think as long as we're cognizant of that and we still utilize those freedom tools while talking to people that are on the old platforms about how you should hedge your bets and start looking at these other things, I think that's the best approach we can get with the hand we've been dealt so far.
100%. I think that's absolutely 1,000,000% spot on, man. And it's important to stay vigilant, to remember, because again, people can get complacent, right? And I think that's the potential danger here. Anyways, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. So like for anybody out there watching this that you're like, I love that, things are going to be censored less. That's fantastic, but don't throw other solutions to the side. Check out Nostr, get yourself on a Nostr client, start examining some of the tools that are popping up there. I think that's the best thing you can do. Everybody out there that's watching, thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you smash that like button. Let's get up to 50 likes on YouTube. We're going to smash as best you can. And we are going to be right back. Just a quick shout out to our sponsors. We'll continue on with the big stories of the week. Bitcoin Well is the best place to be buying and selling Bitcoin in Canada and the US. And now with Bitcoin Well Infinite, it's also the best place to be making large buys at their OTC desk of over $50,000. Their white glove service gives you fast transactions, no slippage, and the lowest fees. You can scan the QR code on the screen or simply head to bitcoinwell.com/BTC sessions to sign up today. And you can share your own personalized referral link to earn commissions. CoinKite has been in the game for years, creating hands down the best and most secure hardware when it comes to securing your Bitcoin. The Cold Card Q is an absolute powerhouse and my daily driver, and it's ideal for newcomers and advanced users alike. The Tap Signer gives you a low-cost, user-friendly option for those just getting started or for convenience when traveling. You can head to coinkite.com and use code BTC Sessions for discounts, or simply scan the QR code on the screen to get started right away. All right, we're back in, but let's give away some sats real quick before we continue on with the news here. Anybody watching, I'm here over at bitcoinwell.com/BTC sessions. But if you don't know how to type that, you can type simply Bitcoin as well if you want to be. if you want to toss Nico some love here as well. But the QR code over there on the right will allow you to sign up. But we're going to give away some sats right now. So the way it works is when you sign up for Bitcoin Well, when you buy Bitcoin, when you refer friends, you earn points, and those points can be used to toss in the Bitcoin wishing well and give you a chance to win up to 1 million sats every single time. So we're going to do just that right now. Get your Lightning wallets out. Whoever scans the QR code in the middle, the fastest will claim the sats, and 210 sats are up for grabs. So congrats to whoever snags them or snipes them from everyone else. And let us know if you grab them, if you're in the comments, if you're in the live chat. We'd love to hear about it. But with that, Nico, let's get your screen back up here and let's continue on. What else has been going on? I see that face. I hate that face. I'll let you say what's going on with it.
Yeah, so huge news. And again, I'm going to keep reiterating this over and over again because this is like a mental mind fuck that Bitcoiners get themselves in, where they're like, dude, I have Bitcoin in self-custody. Politics don't matter. I'm fine. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, okay, in theory, you're 100% right. However, in practice, elections have effing consequences, right? The election of Trump started this bull market. It's most likely going to get Ross free. It's going to create a positive regulatory environment in the United States. And more than likely, I mean, it probably played a huge role in Trudeau stepping down and resigning, right? So fiat elections still have consequences as we're transitioning into the full information age, the world of the sovereign individual, where politics no longer matter. We're not there yet. We're in the transitionary period. So fiat elections still have consequences. Anyways, I have to get a little bit of context there. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, very, very unpopular for a variety of reasons. He's been in power a very long time. He has announced that he is resigning. Now, before I get to the Bitcoin-related part, which is hilarious, I do want to welcome Ben as my fellow countrymen. It has been announced that Canada is joining the United States. The Gulf of Mexico is now called Gulf of America, and the Panama Canal is called the Panamaga, and Greenland is now called our land. I kid you not. This is a post actually coming out of Donald Trump's Truth Social account, The Art of the Deal. He is 100% serious. I find that hilarious. Trudeau was not able to stop him. So, Ben, we actually might be in the same country very, very soon.
What world are we living in? Like, what? That picture is ridiculous. Oh my God. It's like, I don't know what to say. Like, are we in a simulation?
This is hilarious. I mean, this is hilarious. The way that he phrased it, the way that he did it. But the Bitcoin news, right, is the who right now is up in the polls is a gentleman by the name of Pierre Poilievre, and I probably butchered that pronunciation. But here he is buying Sharma. So Donald Trump bought burgers. Pierre bought Sharma in tahinis. So let's check out the video.
We're going to buy this shawarma with this Bitcoin. You ready?
Hold on, I'm just creating your invoice.
He's creating me an invoice right now. Now listen. He's going to, oh yeah. Make sure to include the tip in there as well. By the way, what is on this shawarma?
Oh, deliciousness.
Deliciousness. An extra serving of deliciousness is exactly what we need. And by the way, do you use Canadian food when you make your shawarma? Is it Canadian sourced?
Everything here is local, actually.
Local, made in Canada, my friends. All right, let's do it.
So then they do the process, they scan the QR code. Now, what's really, really exciting too is, check this out. Pro crypto Pierre Poilievre leads Polymarket odds to become Canada's next prime minister, replacing Justin Trudeau. It goes on to say, Mr. Poilievre, the pro crypto politician, head of Canada's Conservative Party, leads Polymarket odds for who will replace Justin Trudeau. Users of the centralized prediction placed $257,000 in bets on Poilievre, giving the conservative politician an 89% chance in odds in favor of winning the upcoming federal election expected this spring. So Canada and the United States, Ben, we could have never have imagined this in the beginning of 2024 where things were dark. The Canadian truckers protest was not that long ago. We could have never have imagined that in 2025, both the United States and Canada will have pro-Bitcoin governments. Mind effing blowing.
It's wild. First of all, okay, Trudeau stepping down. Thank the Lord. We can't be rid of him soon enough. The economic ruin that he has left this country in is crazy. And there's charts where it shows the like GDP per capita, and it's basically in lockstep with the US all the way up to when he's elected, and then it just splits and Canada is lower. And so like when people come up from the US, they're like, why are groceries insane here? And when you look at like what somebody can afford with their paycheck, like in terms of standard of living here in Canada versus in the US, it's crazy. Like everybody's taking a hit because of inflation, but Canadians are so much worse off than in the US. Like it's wild. Secondly, with Poilievre, he knows what's up. Like when he was, I think he's still like kind of off the gas when it comes to talking about Bitcoin, but it's clear he's a Bitcoiner. When you see him explain the economy, when you see him explain how stuff works and how inflation works, he's not, yes, like he talks about, yes, government spending is a problem, spending beyond our means. We're doing all these other things. But he's like, he gets down to the root of it. And he has a very simple kind of walkthrough of like, hey, if you have an economy that has 10 apples and you have $10 then in that economy, it's $1 an apple. If you print more money and there's now $20, nobody got richer. Like nobody's twice as rich. It's just the apples cost more. And he's like, this is the true source of inflation. When you don't have more stuff, but you print more money, then things are just more expensive and not everybody gets the money equally. So people are extracting wealth from you. They're stealing the purchasing power of your paycheck and taking it for the elites to do with as they please. And so like he sums it up so well. He's very articulate with it. So yeah, I mean, great. I'm stoked. And also shout out to Ali from Tahini's. Dude, what a absolute Chad, where he's on a Bitcoin standard in terms of they're doing the MicroStrategy playbook in terms of their company treasury is Bitcoin, and they've been doing it for ages, and it's allowed them to expand all over Canada. There weren't any here in Calgary. Now I think there's 4 Tahini's in Calgary, and they're delicious. Nicest guy ever. Comes, sees every opening personally, helps out all the franchisees. He's awesome. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's I love Ali. He was at the party here down in Miami, so
He was.
got to
He
spend
was.
some time with him, and it was a great time, man. But this is great, man. 4 years of Biden was terrible. Or what is it? 9 years of
9 years
Trudeau?
of Trudeau. This is my souvenir from the Trudeau years. I keep it on the shelf behind me. It's not plugged in, it's decommissioned, but this was the node, the trucker protest node.
Wow.
Right here. So it's a little piece of history there. That's
crazy.
helped relay the donations to help out the truckers that were protesting all the mandates.
Incredible, dude. That's a piece of history right there that you're holding, dude.
Family heirloom.
Holy cow. All right, everybody. So moving on to the next piece of news, and let me make sure I have all the pages set up. Yeah, let's go to page 3 first. So Fidelity, there it loaded. Fidelity dropped a report. The name of the report is "Are You Too Late to Bitcoin?" Fidelity has, I believe it's off the top of my head, 4.9 trillion or 4.5 trillion dollars assets under management. So it's absolutely a massive institution. Of course, they have an incredible reputation. So this isn't just a Twitter thread by some Bitcoin anon, on X. This is actually coming from Fidelity themselves. So the name of the presentation is "Are You Too Late?" And it goes on to say, in our 2024 look ahead, the Fidelity Digital Assets research team opined that investors should, quote, prepare for acceleration with increased adoption, development, interest in, and demand for digital assets. However, no one could fully predict what 2024 would bring. The digital assets market experienced 2 significant waves of acceleration in the first half of the year with the approval of the ETFs, followed by a post-election surge at the end of 2023. Now moving on. Oh, I'm on the wrong. What am I doing? I'm on the right page or wrong page? This is the right page. I apologize. Sorry about that, guys.
We got it.
Moving on to page 27. I'm like reading the actual thing and you guys can't see it. Rookie mistake. All right, moving on. The possible drivers of mainstream adoption and diffusion in 2025. Nation, state, and government adoption. The approval and launch of spot Bitcoin ETFs earlier in 2024 led to substantial demand for exposure to Bitcoin from institutional and retail investors alike. This regulated, familiar, and accessible vehicle has made allocation to Bitcoin more streamlined than ever before, leading to several pensions and at least one endowment making allocations to Bitcoin through these products. While we expect to see this trend accelerate through 2025, one might wonder who the next significant investor might be to add Bitcoin to their portfolios. So here it has a breakdown of the United States, China, United Kingdom, Ukraine, Bhutan, El Salvador. It goes on to say, however, despite holding Bitcoin, many countries with exposure have only gained that exposure through government seizures and recoveries of Bitcoin associated with entities using it for illicit financing purposes, not necessarily because they wanted to establish a strategic long-term position holding the asset. Further, some of these governments, such as the U.S., have certain requirements relative to the handling and auctioning of this Bitcoin and cannot count them as part of their treasury. It goes on to say that the countries of Bhutan and El Salvador are countries that have actually acquired Bitcoin ethically. So that was pretty cool. All right, and last page, which is page 32, and making sure I'm sharing the right screen. Last thing is not too late and hopefully early to a new era. Reviewing the 2025 outlook, it is clear that investors are not too late to join the digital asset movement. In fact, we believe we may be entering the dawn of a new era for digital assets, one poised to span multiple years, if not decades. This era could see digital assets permeating various sectors, industries, technologies, fields, balance sheets, and even nation states. The pivotal question for investors now is not whether to participate, but how actively they will engage with this transformation. I mean, absolutely incredibly bullish report coming out of Fidelity, breaking it down, breaking the data. And I think, look, I would say, like, look, the significance of this is this is not coming from, you know, an X anon or a Twitter anon. This is coming from Fidelity. So just bullish news all around. Ben.
I mean, again, can you imagine taking this report, shoving it in a time machine and sending it back to like 2020 or like, you know, before? It would blow minds. It's blowing my mind right now that it's even a real thing. But I mean, they're on the money, right? Like they understand the sentiment, and to a degree, they're also, I mean, to a large degree, they're also driving the sentiment. Like these people look to Fidelity, you know, for what do I do with my money? And they don't take reports like this lightly. Like the financial world looks at what Fidelity is doing and actually really deeply considers it. So, I mean, to be seeing things like this come out of them, and it's not the first time. They've been bullish as hell consistently for an extended period of time, and they're thinking long term. And again, it's that thesis of you're reaching kind of like the edges of society. You're reaching the people that have nothing to lose, and so they're going to take a chance on Bitcoin. The people that have been debanked, that are in authoritarian regimes. But then you're also taking the best off people in society that have the most wealth to protect, and they're also getting it too, and it's working its way inwards, where us, the crazies that were early, get to hang out. So it's an interesting place to be.
Yeah, dude, I think that just that example of sending it back in a time machine, you know, back to 2016, back to 2017, you would have seen this. You would have been like, that's fake. What are you talking about? That's a lie. Anyways, to address the title of today's videos, do I think it's a coincidence that the DOJ announced that they're cleared to sell $6.5 billion in seized Bitcoin? By the way, 69,000 Bitcoin. I find that number hilarious. Nice. From Silk Road. Is it a coincidence that this is happening 11 days before the inauguration of the first pro-Bitcoin administration, kind of, you know, trying to sabotage a little bit the plan for the strategic Bitcoin reserve? Do I think that's a coincidence? I mean, after the behavior of the Biden administration for the last 4 years, no, I do not think it's a coincidence whatsoever. This is 100% on purpose, but it also tells me that we're winning. It also tells me that we're over the target. It also tells me that they're afraid. They're scared. Why else would they do this type of stuff? This is like child's play. It's like, listen, Trump got a mandate. The Republicans usually never win the popular vote. They usually never do that. They won the popular vote. They won the House. They won the Senate. And Biden is basically spitting in their face and saying, you know what? I don't care, man. Like, we're going to sell this Bitcoin anyways. Look at how that turned out for Germany. That was a horrific idea. That was a terrible idea. So anyways, Ben.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the last gasp of an outgoing regime that failed, right? Like it's them just, and it's so petty. It's so petty, like in these final days to like expedite this. Oh yeah, we could totally do like a quick sale of all this. Like he's in 11 days. It's insane that this is even, you know, a thing right now. Part of me hopes they dump it, right? I hope, because historically, as with Germany, people will look back at that moment and be like, my God, what a historical blunder and an economic blunder that was at that moment in time. And to a degree, I think if they dump it, I think Trump, just to spite them, will buy it back twofold at least.
Oh, for sure.
And then continue hard from there. Like it's almost like they're just poking the bear, being like, "Hey, that thing you said you wanted to do, and that money you wanted to keep, that Bitcoin you wanted to keep, yeah, we're going to dump it all." And what's he going to do? He's not beyond being petty in the opposite direction. So, I mean, great. Let's just stir the pot. I'm all for it.
Exactly, right. You're not gonna stop the Donald. Look at all the stuff he's put up with over the last couple of years. You're just gonna embolden him, if anything. I 100% agree with that. Anyways, guys, this was your Simply Sessions, the news section at least, for January 9th, 2024. Ben, I will see you next week. Peace out, everybody.
Dude, have a good one. Everybody else, stick around. Up next, we're gonna be talking your bits, apps, and sats. And what does that mean? Well, we've got some huge updates. One of my favorite mobile wallets just had a $5 million raise. We'll be letting you know about that. There's also some crazy privacy tools and a game changer when it comes to Multisig. So stick around for that. We're going to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, and then we're going to give away some sats the second we get back. Debify is the best and easiest way to borrow against your Bitcoin in a non-custodial way. Funds are held in a multi-sig escrow where you hold a key, and the platform allows for excellent hardware like the Cold Card Mark IV and the Q. You have access to flexible conditions, the best rates, and institutional-grade liquidity. If you're looking to make use of your capital, don't sell your Bitcoin, borrow against it. You can head over to debify.com to check them out, or simply scan the QR code on the screen. Speed Wallet is the easiest to set up and use Bitcoin wallet out there. When you sign up, you can of course buy Bitcoin within the app. You can send and receive Bitcoin transactions via the Lightning Network, and you can also send, receive, hold, and swap between stablecoins, aka USDT, via the Lightning Network. They've baked in a ton of other great features as well, where you're able to earn Bitcoin. This can include referring your friends, shopping your favorite gift cards, or playing fun games via the Speed Arcade. I encourage you to sign up today. There's a QR code on the screen to do so, or you can hit the link in the show notes down below. And when you do, you will earn 5,000 sats as you create your first. All right, we're back in. We're going to be giving away some sats. I want to give a shout out to everybody that is in the live chat right now, both on Nostr and on YouTube, and those that are also coming in from X. Appreciate you guys being here. Everybody over on YouTube, do me a huge favor if you can. Smash that like button. We're approaching 100 likes. I've got a stretch goal. I'd love you guys to hit 150 likes. And what I'll do for you, if we hit that 150 before the end of the show, I'm going to give away more sats over here on Bitcoin Well. But let's do that right now. Pull out your Lightning wallets. Whoever scans this first is going to get the sats. In the meantime, I will also get a QR code up on the right-hand side of the screen. That's Bitcoin Well, where I'm sitting right now. Again, when you sign up, when you buy Bitcoin, when you refer friends, you earn points. And those points can be thrown into the Bitcoin wishing well to win you up to 1 million sats every single time you do. So we're going to do just that right now. Anybody with a Lightning wallet can participate in this. And I'll hit a quick refresh here so that I can toss a coin. And off it goes. Whoever scans it first will snipe the sats from everybody else. And there's another 210 up for grabs. So congrats to whoever gets it. Let us know in the comments or in the live chat if you snag them. But appreciate you all. I also want to let you guys know that tomorrow on Why Are We Bullish, we've got a stacked show. Bitcoin Shooter, awesome film that he just released, No More Inflation. He's going to be on the show. Sue Ennis from Hut 8, massive Bitcoin miner. And we've also got Tom Honzik from Unchained Capital, incredible multi-sig provider. They're all going to be on the show tomorrow, and they're going to be chatting about why they are bullish. Make sure you check it out. And if you haven't already, do check out the tutorial that dropped earlier in the week on the on the BitKey. Sorry, I stumbled over my words a little bit. Surprisingly simple to use. I was very impressed with the ease of use. Now it comes with some trade-offs and everything. Encourage you to watch the tutorial, and namely the key takeaways at the end, in my opinions, in and around it. But very nice device, I will say. And yeah, with that, let's get into all the updates here. By the way, if you have any trouble, be sure to check out Bitcoin Mentor. We can help you out with anything in and around your Bitcoin learning journey. So Jan 3. Who is Jan 3? They're the people behind AQUA Wallet. I use AQUA Wallet quite a bit. And the reason I like it is because it eliminates some of the pain points of that initial onboarding into Lightning if you're doing it in a self-custodial manner. Now, there's some nuance here that I want to talk about, but Jan 3, regardless, they just had a $5 million seed round for AQUA Wallet, which is awesome. Huge congrats to the team, Samson, Prince Philip of Serbia, everybody over there. They're awesome. So $5 million seed round led by Fulgur Ventures, participation from Grupo Salinas, Tether, Lightning Ventures, East Ventures, Plan B Fund, Bitcoin Opportunity Fund, and NYDIG. Again, they said, we're excited to announce the $5 million in seed funding to accelerate the development and expansion of AQUA Wallet. This funding marks a pivotal step in our journey to make Bitcoin accessible, practical, and transformative for users around the globe. It had an oversubscribed pre-seed of 620 grand, closed in early 2023. 1 million of the funds will be allocated to establish a Bitcoin treasury for Jan 3, consisting of 12 coins, acquired at an average cost of 83K. Tether is excited to support the work Jan 3 is doing to advance financial freedom around the world. AQUA has found excellent product market fit by offering a perfect balance of saving in Bitcoin while spending in USDT. I'll say that, you know what? I don't really use the stablecoin stuff. I understand why some people do in certain areas. I'm just all in Bitcoin. So you can turn that switch off if that doesn't appeal to you. Final quote, we've seen rapid growth of both user adoption and volumes within a month of November 2024 alone, crossing 11 million in swap volume. By leveraging advanced technologies like Lightning and Liquid networks, we've managed to create a Bitcoin super app that's able to deliver real utility and be used in daily life around the world. It just works, and it's only going to get better. And that's from Samson Mao. So again, with AQUA Wallet, I've done a tutorial on it. Highly recommend you check it out if you're trying to figure out where a happy balance of getting a Lightning wallet that maybe you're trying to get around the idea of Lightning channels and balancing liquidity and all of that crap, and you're like, I don't want to even deal with that. This is kind of what AQUA achieves. You don't have to worry about actual Lightning channels, because what it's actually doing is swapping from Lightning to Liquid network in the background, which doesn't require a Lightning channel to happen. So you can send and receive to and from anybody else using a Lightning wallet, but you yourself don't have a Lightning channel. Now, there are nuances in and around how Liquid works. I encourage you to work through those and kind of make your best decision. But for a day-to-day spending wallet, it works like a breeze. You can also swap to on-chain. There's all these different features for it. They have baked in things for being able to use it in day-to-day. They have a marketplace and all that. So definitely check out AQUA. And again, hats off to Jan 3. Good job, guys. Another big launch, and this is, again, an absolute game changer when it comes to Bitcoin security and in and around multisig, along with insurance. So a lot of people, they freak out because they're like, I'm self-custodying, which is good, but what happens if something goes wrong or somebody manages to get a hold of my coins? Like, am I just screwed? And the team at AnchorWatch, Becca and Rob, have been working like crazy, and they've just launched for U.S. customers. Right now, it's for higher net worth. So people holding between $250,000 and $100 million worth of Bitcoin. But what this does is you can get a multi-sig vault where you actually retain control, and you can actually get have it fully insured as well at the same time. And there's mechanisms where if you begin losing things over time, the multisig, it has time locks involved so that as time goes on, if you lose access to certain keys, it becomes easier to access, but you can always bump that forward over time. And you can also bake in things like inheritance planning. What they've built at AnchorWatch is incredible. And I definitely want to have Rob and Becca on the show to talk about it, but they're amazing. Check out the Bitcoin mentor space coming up. They're going to be on and just check out, follow at BTC Mentor, the BTC Mentor, and just look out for that spaces coming. They happen every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I can't remember when this one is happening. Either way, quick summary here. AnchorWatch is a Lloyd's of London cover holder with binding authority up to $100 million per customer. Company aims to transform Bitcoin custody with its Trident Vault software, leveraging Bitcoin smart contracting language for features like time locks, multiple spending conditions, and multi-sig quorums. This ensures strong security and governance facilitated at the Bitcoin protocol level, while embedded regulated insurance reduces risks from theft, kidnappings, and fraud. Again, it gets super technical here, but the long and the short of it, they say most of our customers with around 250 grand of Bitcoin are paying around, just over $1,000 to $2,000 a year, fully insured, full service enhanced self-custody. We waive the Trident tech fee for the first 250K. And then they say policies are denominated in dollars. So you get the exact amount of insurance you pay for it. So if you bought a $500,000 policy, you have $500,000 of coverage. If you feel underinsured during the policy term, you can increase your limit accordingly. So like if your Bitcoin increases in value, you can get a higher policy. And again, this is all baked into a multisig of which you're actually a part of. So there's no possibility for AnchorWatch to rug you, which is awesome. So, I mean, these guys are giving everybody a run for their money. Like they've really thought through this. They've thought through the people that want to self-custody, but also are worried about what if shit hits the fan. We're going to see so much innovation in the multisig space in the coming years. This is impressive. Okay, moving on. Blitz Wallet. I did a video on Blitz Wallet back in the day. Actually, back in the day. It wasn't that long ago. It was like late last year. Really, really cool. This is a new update, 0.3.7 beta. On-chain payments from Lightning or Liquid, manual channel rebalancing. The long and the short of it is Blitz Wallet allows you to send and receive payments to and from on-chain, Lightning, Liquid, and eCash, all with one balance. And it, depending on the threshold of how much you have in the wallet, it will react differently. So like when you're dealing with a few hundred sats, it deals with eCash because that's higher risk, but it's the easiest onboarding. When you get above a certain threshold, it moves to Liquid. When you get again above a certain threshold, it will just open up a full Lightning channel to you when that becomes economically viable. And it just kind of does it in the background without you having to think. You can set different thresholds if you want to, but now they've added the ability to send directly to an on-chain balance if you have Lightning or Liquid in whatever is sitting in the background of the wallet at the current time of using it. Awesome. Again, I love the idea how all of these different rails are coming together and being presented in a way to the end user where it's just, you just have Bitcoin. And maybe you have some settings that you tinker with, but more or less, you just see a balance and you can interact with anybody. It's like going up to a point of sale terminal anywhere, and they don't care if you have a debit card or a Visa or a MasterCard or American Express. They just say, tap your card here. Boom. That's what we're seeing with Bitcoin wallets now. And it makes me bullish. I'm going to continue on. We got a few privacy things here. Coinswap version 0.1.0 first public beta release. So what is this? It is a decentralized atomic swap protocol that facilitates swaps of Bitcoin UTXOs or pieces of Bitcoin through a decentralized Sybil-resistant marketplace, meaning you have a chunk of Bitcoin, say maybe you have a whole Bitcoin, somebody else has a whole Bitcoin or however many sats. You have the same size coins and then you swap them with the other person without a definitive trace as to who you swapped with and who currently owns the other coin. So this is really cool. I'll read a little bit just from the bottom here. What is a coin swap? You might ask. Let's say you and me swap a UTXO. We each lock our output in a special contract. We exchange secrets that allow us to claim each other's coins, and either we both successfully swap or we get our original coins back. When we swap our UTXOs, there's no direct on-chain link between our transactions. While someone could see two swaps happened, they can't connect my history to your new coins or vice versa, breaking the transaction trail and giving each participant fresh coins. Super awesome. Excited to see more happening in the Bitcoin privacy space. A couple more things here. Sentinel. This is a watch-only Bitcoin wallet tracker. And it's for managing multiple wallets and addresses. And this was used in tandem a lot with Samurai Wallet. Well, Samurai Wallet obviously was shut down by the DOJ. Server seas and everything. Somebody forked that protocol, or forked that project rather, and created Ashigaru Wallet. And you pair that with a dojo. I did a video on setting up your dojo and setting up your Ashigaru wallet. Well, now Sentinel can be a companion app for anybody using a dojo. So they announced the release, version 5.1.1. It allows a few things: fully spending a UTXO by tapping the available balance, scanning BIP21 QR codes, selecting which exchange to use for your fiat rate. You can paste your dojo credentials in various ways now rather than just the default before. And you can add a street mode for hiding your balance. And this is also inspired by the latest Ashigaru update. And a few bug fixes here as well. Furthermore, if you're not running a dojo, but you want to experiment with Ashigaru Wallet, they do now have a dojo, which is publicly available. Now, they do say you should have your own dojo, but if you don't, you can begin to play with the Samurai Wallet fork and use theirs. I would recommend that you set up your own, but if for experimentation purposes, check it out. Live Wallet. I got to talk about this one too. I haven't tried it yet. This is promising. I want to play with it. Live Wallet is a desktop app that helps users understand the current and future fee burden of their UTXOs. And so it has the ability to analyze user transactions to check for potential privacy heuristics that chain analytics companies use to cluster wallets. It also adds basic transaction output labeling. And so basically you can select whatever UTXOs and then analyze the privacy of them and see how they can be linked and interpreted. That's really, really cool. I can't wait to play with this. I think it's super interesting. Yeah. And in the home mining space, I want to touch on this. Canaan, I'm not sure how to say these guys' names. Let me know in the chat. How do I say Canaan? Let me know. I would love to hear your pronunciation of this in the chat. But Canaan announces the launch of the Avalon Mini 3 and the Nano 3S at CES in Las Vegas. So these are home miners. So if you're mining at home, if you played with the BitX, the Brains Mini Miner, the FutureBit, this is in that realm for you. But it is a space heater as well, both of them. So the Avalon Mini 3, this device is a 37.5 terahash Bitcoin miner. That's pretty decent for a space heater. It also functions as a home heater. And then they have the Avalon Nano 3S. It's an upgraded version of the well-received Avalon Nano 3, has a hash rate of 6 terahash, which sounds pretty similar to my, to the, God, why am I forgetting the S9? God, the S9. So I took an old S9 miner that I think I got for $100. I swapped out the fans and put it in a 3D printed case from Crypto Cloaks, who are awesome. And that one is a similar terahash when I kind of pull back the wattage to keep it quieter. And so this, if you're kind of looking for comparison, that's what this Avalon Nano 3 is like. Now, their quote here: "We are committed to making Bitcoin mining accessible to everyone. Avalon Mini 3 and Avalon 3S represent our vision of user-friendly, practical mining solutions for the modern individual. We're reimagining how technology can create value while minimizing environmental waste." the ability to generate, we'll say Bitcoin, because that's what it is, while heating your home is a perfect example of our vision for sustainable multi-purpose technology. That's from the CEO. And pricing, what are these things going to cost you? Remember I said I was using the S9, which has a comparable, but I obviously you got to pay if you're going to use like an enclosure and everything. You're looking probably $250 when all is said and done, once you get all set up with the fan replacements, all that. Well, that's what the Avalon Nano 3S is. And so it's kind of like you can just get something plug and play, and with comparable terahash. That's not bad. I think I'm going to try that out. The other one, the Mini 3, is $899. And so what is that? 6 terahash versus 37.5. So about a 6x in terahash, and it's $899. So not bad. I wouldn't expect to like make money with these, but you can kind of think of it as if you need the heat anyways, you're getting reimbursed for part of your electric bill. So well worth checking out. And thanks, Rusty. Canaan, nan bread. There we go. That's what I needed to be able to pronounce. Canaan. All right. I'm going with that. I'm going to trust Rusty. He's never steered me wrong. Anyways, guys, with that, I'm going to wrap it up. You guys are now filled in for your bits, apps, and sats for the week. We're going to see you tomorrow for Why Are We Bullish at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you're there. Smash that like button for you head out, and have a wonderful evening. This has been your Simply Session.
Hodl the Bitcoin.